If you've been scrolling through a dozen lab centrifuge listings, squinting at RPM numbers, and still feeling like you might end up buying the wrong machine for your workflow, you're not alone. I've been in that exact spot trying to match a centrifuge to a tiny research budget, a tight bench space, and the need to spin both 15 ml microtubes and the larger 50 ml conical tubes we keep for blood separations. The SCILOGEX SCI 406 is one of the options that keeps popping up, and today I'm going to walk through why it might finally be the one that makes sense for you. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First, let's talk about the daily reality in a clinical or teaching lab. Most of us run a mix of protocols. Some require a quick 5-minute spin at 1,500 revolutions per minute for plasma separation, others need a slower, longer spin for cell culture media clarification. The SCI 406 advertises a speed range of 3,500 RPM, which on paper sounds like it can cover everything. In practice, that flexibility hinges on how quickly the motor reaches the set speed and how reliably the timer starts the moment the target RPM is achieved. The unit uses a maintenance-free brushless DC motor that automatically brakes when the cycle ends, and users report that the ramp-up is smooth enough that you don't have to wait additional minutes for the speed to settle before the timer counts down. That means if you're running a 10-minute spin at 2,000 revolutions per minute, you're actually getting the full 10 minutes of true centrifugal force, not a half-minute lag while the motor catches up. Now, the rotor configuration is where many centrifuges start to feel limiting. The SCI 406 ships with a single rotor that can hold either 650 ml tubes or 615 ml tubes, and you can mix and match within the same run. For a lab that processes a handful of patient samples each day, that capacity is often enough. The real win is the ability to flip the rotor without removing the tubes. You set the speed, load the tubes, push the start button, and the LCD backlit for low-light readability shows you the exact speed, the elapsed time, and a countdown when the spin is near completion. The sound alerts let you step away knowing you'll be prompted the moment the cycle ends. In a busy workflow, that reduces the mental load of watching the clock. Who should buy this? If you're a small to medium-size clinical lab, a university teaching lab, or a research group that needs a benchtop centrifuge but doesn't have the space for a larger high-capacity unit, the SCI 406 fits nicely onto a standard benchtop. Its footprint is roughly the size of a small desktop printer, and the footprint includes a built-in safety lid that prevents accidental opening while the rotor is still moving, something you'll appreciate if students are handling the equipment. The brushless motor also means less heat generation, which matters if you're running consecutive spins throughout the day. The unit stays comfortably cool, so you don't need to schedule downtime for cooling periods. Who should skip it? If your protocol regularly requires 12-tube or 24-tube rotors, or you need to spin larger volume containers like 100 ml conical flasks, the 6-tube capacity will feel restrictive. Also, if you're looking for ultra-high speed, say, 10,000 revolutions per minute or higher for subcellular fractionation, this model tops out at 4,500 revolutions per minute, so you'll quickly outgrow it. Finally, labs that demand continuous operation for 24-hour periods should consider that the SCI 406 is built for intermittent use. While the motor is robust, the design isn't marketed as a round-the-clock workhorse. Let's dig into practical strengths that matter after the box is opened. The first thing most users notice is the intuitive menu system. There's no cryptic code entry or hidden button combos, just a simple up-down wheel and a start-stop key. You set speed, then time, and the machine handles the rest. Because the timer only begins once the set RPM is actually reached, you don't waste any of that programmed time on acceleration. The automatic brake stops the rotor within seconds of the cycle ending, which reduces wear on the bearings and makes tube removal safer. The backlit LCD stays readable even when you're working under a fume hood's dim lighting, and the audible alerts can be muted if you prefer a quieter bench. A hidden trade-off worth mentioning is the single rotor design's impact on tube handling. Because the rotor is fixed, you have to load and unload all tubes at once, which can be a bit awkward if you frequently change tube types midday. Some competitors offer interchangeable rotors that you can swap out without pulling the whole unit off the bench, but the SCI 406 design keeps the workflow straightforward, no extra rotor accessories to purchase or calibrate. If you're comfortable with a set and see approach, That's a non-issue. If you need to swap between 15 milliliters and 50 milliliters tubes multiple times a day, you might find the loading process a little slower than with a dual rotor system. Another practical point is the noise level. Brushless DC motors are quieter than brushed counterparts, but the